Has this ever happened to you? Oh man, I'm so glad I finished up my work week. Tonight is the only night of the week that I get to play Magic the Gathering, but my usual pot isn't here. Guess I'll have to settle for randoms today. Uh-oh, I think you know where this is going. Are y'all looking for a fourth? Absolutely, hop in.
1 minute later.
It's only turn 4, please, just kill me. But you haven't even seen the best part about my Dragon deck. I haven't played all my ancient dragons. Yeah, my slivers aren't even that bad, especially when we have— I play Ulalek! You will suffer and not enjoy a second of this! Well, I guess I shouldn't have brought my precons. If only there was a system in place that can help players decide how powerful their decks are. Well, chin up, Buttercup. You're in an ad. Wait, what? For just $9.99.99, now you can decide the strength of your games with the new and improved bracket system. Wait, I'm not real? For $9.99.99, you will have the mental acuity and know-how to group your decks into specific brackets and ensure that other players are at a similar level. I don't understand. I have a wife. Kids. But wait! There's more! For just an additional $67.67, you can get your hands on the best bundle deal this side of the Mississippi, the Game Changer list. I went to war, held my brothers in my arms as the light faded from their eyes. Was that all fake? Does my life mean nothing? Make sure you buy today. Ugh, this is why I don't watch YouTube. Too much weird shit. What is up, you voracious viewers? My name is Really Bad at Magic the Gathering, or Really Bad for short, and I told you I was back. No more hiatus. God, I'm so excited. While the intro skit is just that, a skit, I'm sure we've all run into a similar situation where you're sitting down with a group of randoms and get diddled by a supposed Bracket 2 deck that entombed and reanimated Valgavoth on turn 2. However, this is a problem that Wizards intended to solve with the introduction of the bracket system in February of this year. Since we finally had some time with the system and recently got patch notes, I think we ought to take a look at it and decipher how helpful it truly is. But Really Bad! Even though the bracket system has been out for a year, I still have no clue what it is! Settle down, silly Sammy. Papa's here. The bracket system is a framework with which players can categorize their commander decks in order to identify the power level associated with it. This is a tool created by Wizards in order to facilitate pre-game conversations and understand what power of the deck you can play at. Rather than vague phrases like mid-powered tokens deck or silly wizard tribal, it organizes decks into 5 distinct brackets, each with its own assumptions about deck power, speed, intent, and the use of Game Changers. If you aren't hip, Game Changers are a card that dramatically alters the pace, structure, or outcome of a commander game in a way that is usually disproportionate to the rest of the table's power level. Think of it like this. If this card resolves, the entire game will pivot around it. These cards tend to share one or more of the following traits. Number 1, they accelerate the game massively. They push the game from we're setting up to someone is about to win very quickly. Examples of this kind of effect are explosive mana acceleration like Dark Ritual or Pyretic Ritual, fast combo enablers, or tutors that can find win conditions reliably. Number 2, they can shut down entire strategies. Some cards lock out opponents or restrict play so heavily that the game becomes one-sided. This includes things like stacks, or pieces that turn off mana like land destruction, cards that lock players out of casting spells, or cards that hard counter common commander mechanics. Number 3, they enable or complete infinite combos. Usually, this is a single card that, when paired with certain cards, can create an immediate infinite sequence or a deterministic win. Think about cards like Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Consultation. Number 4, they drastically alter the board state. These cards might reset the game, steal or reanimate large amounts of creatures, loot value engines, and look, now that we know what the scariest cards in the format are, I think we can begin to get into the brackets themselves. Bracket 1, Exhibition. This is the ultra-casual low-stakes zone. You're going to be seeing people in chairs decks, goofy and expensive interactions. You're going to have longer games and minimal optimization. Infinite combos, oppressive strategies, fast wins aren't expected, nor are they allowed. Bracket 2 is core. Think of this as Precon Plus. These are decks that are fun and functional, but not built around maximizing efficiency. Bombastic plays, sure, but no oppressive combos or strategies designed to end games quickly. This is where most players in Magic will start out. Note, you're not allowed any game changers or mass land destruction, similarly to Bracket 1. Bracket 3 is the upgraded section. This is where tuned decks live. You have better card quality, more synergy, and while some powerful pieces are allowed, you're still not necessarily aiming for competitive power levels. Decks might include a few individually powerful cards, but not be hyper efficient. This is where I believe most decks live, and unfortunately, I think it's become the new 7 if you folks remember the old bracket system. Bracket 4 is optimized. Decks here have wide strategic freedom. Tutors, combos, fast mana, mass land denial, depending on group preference, and quick game-ending lines are all on the table. Games are faster, sequences are tighter, and margins matter. Although, I will say, I do have a tougher time with this bracket, as they allow for CEDH staples and fast enabling combos, but I think the disparity between decks is massive within this bracket. You can have a precon that just so happens to have 5 game changers in it, and then a nearly tuned CEDH deck within the same bracket. I think that's a problem. The last bracket is Bracket 5, reserved for competitive EDH or CEDH. This is tournament-style Commander. You have full optimization, meta knowledge, and intent to win as efficiently as possible. Fast combos, stacks pieces, powerful consistency tools. Everything is legal except the official ban list. And honestly, I think this is the best made category, but not just because I'm glazing CEDH. Rather, I think it has the most defined metas, cards to use, and so on. Because CEDH is so focused on winning, metas are relevant, and learning to build a CEDH deck is very different from brackets 1 to 4. And with all of these controls, I think you have the most expected outcome whenever you're sitting down at a bracket 5 table. But with all of this in mind, how's the bracket system been shaken out? The positives. I think the first thing is that you have clearer communication and fewer mismatched games with this new bracket system. Commander is infamous for the power level mismatch. One person brings a goofy tribal deck and another shows up with a turn 3 combo machine. No one's happy. The bracket system gives everyone a shared language, where playing bracket 2 becomes shorthand for this will be fun, functional, and not wildly spiky. It also allows for pre-game conversations. I think having an effective pre-game conversation solves half of the issues with Commander mismatched games, right? Being able to talk about your deck and talk about the types of cards that are in the deck and the win conditions, I think will solve a lot of the issues associated with the mismatch. 2, I think the bracket system makes it more inclusive for different playstyles. One of Commander's weaknesses is that people treat it as a single unified format, when in reality, I think it spans different identities. Some players want chaos and a cool story to happen throughout the game, and others want high-level competitive puzzles. The bracket system recognizes these differences and will allow each player to play at their own pace. Number 3 is player awareness during deck building. By laying out bracket expectations and outlining what counts as a game changer, players will slowly get better and better at understanding what power level they're actually building for. It encourages honest self-assessment instead of, I swear it's casual, it only wins on turn 5. I think the last positive about the bracket system is that it's optional and it's flexible. The bracket system makes it very clear that it's not replacing anything. It's a tool. If your pod already has a healthy understanding of what everyone likes, you honestly don't have to touch it. That respect for established communities, I think, is a pretty big win. Now, for the negatives. I think the first negative is that you have a risk of gatekeeping or policing other decks. Whenever you make categories and labels, there's a risk that some people will treat them like hard rules instead of guidelines. People may begin using brackets to judge others or exclude certain playstyles. This card isn't allowed in bracket 2 can easily turn into arguments or power level shaming, which creates a terrible gameplay experience. The second issue is that it creates ambiguity and gray areas. A deck's power level isn't just about what cards are in it. Intent, pilot skill, and internal synergies matter. Two decks with the same power level can play wildly differently depending on the player behind them. Trying to slot everything neatly into a bracket can get messy pretty fast. The third thing, and this is the thing I'm hopefully addressing with this video, is that it creates extra complexity for newer players. New players already have enough to learn. Building a commander deck, understanding interactions, learning how multiplayer politics work, it's a lot. Asking them to then classify decks according to a 5-tier system with specific expectations can be overwhelming. It adds another layer of meta discussion that honestly may deter casual beginners. Number 4, I think it incentivizes optimization around the system. If the brackets become widely adopted, and I think they have been, I think we've already started to see some players building decks to sort of align with just the rules of the brackets, right? Shaving power points off a list to stay in a lower bracket to stomp casual games, or including powerful cards but holding performance back socially. It winds up shifting deck building from expression to compliance. In the last issue, I don't think it solves the problem of bad actors. You can create a beautifully tiered system, but you cannot force people to follow it. If someone intentionally misrepresents their deck or doesn't care about group harmony, brackets don't fix that. Commander is still rooted in a social contract. Brackets don't replace Rule 0. So there you have it. The Commander bracket system is Wizards' noble attempt to solve one of the format's biggest headaches, an expectation mismatch. And honestly, I really like it. I think it gives people a way to articulate what kind of game they want without endless subjective debates. It also legitimizes multiple styles of play and encourages better communication. My pair of pennies would be that we need to sort of expand our definitions of brackets 3 and brackets 4. I think there is a big difference between a precon that has a couple of game changers in it and then an ultra optimized bracket 3 list, as well as I think there are differences between an ultra optimized bracket 4 list that is nearly CEDH and a bracket 3 list that just has all the game changers that you want in it. But remember, the system's success depends on how players use it. If it becomes a helpful language tool, phenomenal. If it becomes rigid or judgmental, it could fracture communities or discourage creativity. Ultimately, the bracket system is a conversation starter and not a law book. That's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and comment something interesting that you found about the video. Specifically, do you like the bracket system or do you hate it? Also, we have a Discord. The link is in the bio. And I'm gonna figure out the QR thing and put it up on screen. Thank you. If you stayed this long, please comment 6-7. I'm sorry. Alright, be good. Bye.